Hey guys, Ted here from Down the Alley. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and Old Southern Barbecue is smoking up some great deals on turkeys. Sourced locally here in Minnesota, if you're looking to grab a delicious turkey or a full meal complete with sides, visit oldsouthernbarbecue.com and place your order today.
And welcome to Down the Alley. This is PMAC.
And Ted T.S. Spirides.
Well, at the time of this recording, I don't know when when are you dropping this? Happy almost Halloween.
Yeah, this will come out in a couple weeks. Uh,
Okay.
Actually, it'll be a week from Halloween, after Halloween, so it won't
Okay.
be the day after, but the following Friday.
Are you dressing up tomorrow? Or are you going to a party tonight? What's
We went to like a kids party thing last night. That was pretty fun. Um, and then tomorrow is just trick or treating, and I'm not dressing up. I'm just gonna bundle up and manage what I need to manage with two kids trick or treating.
what did the girls end up picking for what they're gonna be?
We got a wolf and a bee.
Okay.
Bump.
The bumblebee's a little surprising. Not surprised by the wolf
Yep.
one bit.
Yep. So, um, kept it simple, just easy, Amazon costumes, nothing too crazy. So yeah, we're excited. I think the kids love Halloween because they know they're going to get all their candy and, um, we'll see. It's going to be a little colder tomorrow than it has been the last couple nights. So, but not as bad as I felt like last year. It was like 20 degrees out.
Yeah, I'm ready for fall weather.
Yeah.
We've been kind of tinkering, flirting with fall weather, and then it's like 80 degrees, and my body's like, I thought we were, prepping going down, not back up. So it's been,
Yep.
I'm ready to, go. I'm ready for fall.
Yeah, I know I am too. I I don't know. I do like the cooler, like some activities I feel like are great when it's a little cooler and you can bundle up. And then
Yeah,
there's some things where it's also nice. Like I kind of like the thing I like about summer is you get up, you put a pair of shorts and a t-shirt on, you can like just go and get in your car and go run an errand, and you don't have to, it's not a 15-step process for yourself. And with kids, then there's
yeah.
another 15-step process just to get out the door. So I do that's one thing I don't like about winter. Well, there's multiple things, but that's one thing that I'm like, oh, like it's always like you gotta like mentally and physically get through the steps to just get outside. But other than that, I agree. A little cooler weather, not be sweating and dying all the time is not bad.
Speaking of steps or itinerary or expectations to get to a location. We haven't done I think our big rant on travel. I'm sure when we've got a lot of guests kind of coming in, but I'm sure we'll get our kind of summer coaching crew on here at some point this off season. However, travel, it came up this week. I don't think it was Delta this time, but somebody dropped the ball. Is CrowdStrike failing again? Was it somebody else? Was it Wi-Fi? What happened?
The last 6 months have been travel. I mean, I went 12 years of club lacrosse travel
Yeah.
without really any issues. I mean, maybe a couple delayed flights of 2 hours, like handful of times, but other than that, no issues. This year, you can't get anywhere ever.
No.
And I realized that I actually haven't been able to get to a destination on any airline but Delta. I actually have never left the airport in a plane other than a Delta plane in the last 2 years. So I don't know if that's coincidence. I don't know if that's par for the course. I don't fly that much. Going to Illinois, I thought I could beat the system. I'm like, I could, the times are working out and I can finagle it and this, that, and the other thing. And it should have just been get in the car and go from the start. So that was probably an user situation, an user error there, but
Is that people are jumping on like extra hard on the Delta bandwagon? Is that
I
what's
I don't know. No, I mean I don't know. Like
okay?
I think everybody has sort of their airlines that they have luck with or they have bad luck with. I mean, American just they just folded the company when we were in Philadelphia. They just were like, you know what? We've had enough of Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. We're just gonna shut her down. So we had to drive our ass to Baltimore and get on a Delta flight. Thank God they were available to get home. Sun Country. Um, they decided, well, it wasn't their fault, but that's when we were going to use them. We had the whole security update failure. Uh,
Yep. CrowdStrike.
uh, I don't
So
know.
what was it this weekend? What happened this weekend?
Maintenance issues. It was a
We've checked every bot, weather,
pre-bot.
CrowdStrike. Now we got maintenance.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe you had a little bit of some process. Maybe is this like an unwritten rule
I
situation?
don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm new to Lifetime. I've been going there a couple months now. I'm trying to tighten things up, be a little healthier, I'm going to the classes, before work, trying to, attack the day, win the day. Um, I don't know. This was making me lose my mind. And I maybe it's on me. Maybe I'm being old grumpy man. I don't know. I don't know. So I'll let you be the judge. I'll let the fans be the judge. But I'm post class. I'm in the locker room using as many towels, as many amenities, as many Q-tips as I can. Just to help me feel good, help me recover, help me get ready for the day. And as I'm, kind of post class, kind of getting ready, I was getting ready to go to the sauna. So I'm getting my towels ready, and this guy is like walking in. And mind you, it is. I've got a 5 a.m. class. It is approximately 6:05 in the morning. And this guy's on the phone. Like, I don't know who you're talking. I'm not on the phone typically at 6 in the morning talking to anybody. I
International business, maybe it's yeah, it's noon in
maybe
London or something.
this guy looked like he was, in his younger 20s. Yeah, maybe he's doing international business based on his conversation. It didn't sound like it. Uh, I didn't completely pick up on who maybe he was talking to. Maybe a friend, maybe a girlfriend, maybe a mother. I don't know. But it's at 6:05 in the morning. I don't know what we're doing here. So whatever. Like it's in the main locker room. I can be like, all right, that guy's weird. Like, all right, I'm gonna keep this thing moving. 5 minutes later, I'm getting my sweat on again in the sauna, having a little peace and quiet, trying to getting a decent mindset to, for the day. And this the same dude, same conversation, same AirPods walks in and continues his conversation in a quiet, sauna with a couple of dudes in there getting their sweat on, not chatting. The other guy's reading the newspaper a little bit, just being quiet, whatever. Being quiet. Like we're minding our own business. Buddy comes in talking on his AirPods about nonsense at 6:05 in the morning. I am I in the wrong? Is this guy in the wrong? Who are
Uh
we talking to at 6 in the
yeah.
morning? What's going on here?
I mean, if it was like, it's one thing if it was a quick, like, hey, like, hey, sorry, I can't talk right now. I'll call you back later. Okay, we can live with that. But to have a full-fledged conversation, that's just an entitlement thing. We see it a lot. Um, yeah, I wouldn't appreciate that personally. Maybe some people are less, grumpy old man, as you said, and they're fine with that. Maybe that's the way to go now. But, um, yeah, it might be something we can ask our guests. They're just getting in the waiting room here. That might be a question for them. To
Yeah.
get with some user feedback. But I am on your side. I think that it's too early to be doing that to people. Um, but we have great guests tonight. Coach Logan Wiemken and Alex Kelley from Moorhead, and this interview is brought to you by Old Southern Barbecue. Hey guys, Ted here from Down the Alley. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and Old Southern Barbecue is smoking up some great deals on turkeys. Sourced locally here in Minnesota, if you're looking to grab a delicious turkey or a full meal complete with sides, visit oldsouthernbarbecue.com and place your order today.
And joining us, like Ted just said, a couple of coaches from the boys Moorhead Lacrosse team, the Spuds, a DTA favorite. We got Alex Kelley, offensive coordinator of the Spuds, owner of Blueprint Personal Training, alum of the North Dakota Fighting Sioux, and champion of the 2020 Forks Dynasty Trophy. I did a little digging. And also, Coach, is it Wiemken? Is that what we decided?
Wiemken, yeah.
Head
Yep.
coach of the Spuds, director of Arctic Lacrosse, also a Fighting Sioux, as well as Red River Valley Warriors. Section 8 head coach of the year, back to back, not a big deal. And living the dream of the Blue Mountain State quarterback, coaching or teaching PE by day and lacrosse by night. Welcome to Down the Alley.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
sir. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. I think it's been a long time coming. Alex and I, we talk a little bit back and forth throughout the season, and talk about just what's going on in Section 8, and also, share film and things like that, or, talk about like opponents and things. But, Moorhead Nation, Spud Nation has been a big follower of the podcast for the last few years. And it's only fitting to have you guys on, talk about your program and who you guys are, and really making waves up there, dominating that area of the state, and representing, when you guys come down and play, pretty regularly, put on the miles and come down and play. So welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I just, before we start, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys, not only for having us on, but just everything you guys do for the game in the state of Minnesota. I absolutely think the impact that you guys have on the notoriety for our sport, in Minnesota, even juxtaposed with other sports in Minnesota, it really helps us all out a lot. And I think it's a great thing that you guys are doing. And, at times it probably feels like you're putting in a lot of time and not getting enough thanks. So I just want to be one of those guys to say thank you. I listen to every show, and, I've heard a few introductions when you guys have interviews, but PMAC went full Connor Stallions getting the intel today, shouting out my fantasy championship for 4 years ago. That really means a lot to me. So I appreciate that.
Oh, no, appreciate the tire pump. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate taking the time, can't wait to, kind of dive into the Spuds and hear, kind of the behind the scenes, about the program, but would love to just kind of introduce, your, history in the game and how you guys got introduced to the game and everything like that.
So, I mean, if I just start like at the beginning, I guess, I think it'll paint a good picture of like lacrosse in the area. So lacrosse started around here around 2011, 2010, around that time. That's when I first started playing. So in the high school time, so we were the Fargo Moorhead Warriors. So that's when Fargo, so on the North Dakota side, and Moorhead, we were combined, and we were playing in the club league in Minnesota. And, we're just, like any new club, like new culture in the area, we were just kind of getting our bearings, getting going. And then from there, we kind of moved, like, so I graduated out and we moved into the Polars in the Fargo Moorhead area. And I think in 2016, they won the club state. And, they kind of grew that. That was towards the end of the club scene for that. But myself personally, then I went up to UND. I played club up there for a few years, came back to the Fargo Moorhead area, started coaching for the Fargo Polars. So at this time now, it's just Fargo. It's not for Fargo Moorhead together. And then from there, in 2021 was my first year with Moorhead. That's when we kind of like my first day at practice, I was like, wow, there's like the athletes here is unbelievable. I mean, as we kind of know, like it's just been coming ever since. But we kind of hit the ground a little slow in April, and then we just kind of caught lightning in the bottle towards the end of May, and we went on that section run, as you guys know. And from there, we just kind of been on a roll and growing. 2 years as the assistant coach, offensive coordinator, and then 2 years now as the head coach. Spent a little time with NDSU coaching with them when they need the help, and then I guess 2021, after we won that first section championship, there's a lot of excitement in the area. I know lacrosse is young around here. We had no club options. I mean, the few guys who did play club, they would travel up to the cities. So that's when we kind of were just like me and a handful of the other coaches in the area at the time were like, we need to get this club thing going now. I mean, we've got the excitement, we've got the athletes, obviously, and that's kind of how we started Arctic, and we've been kind of rolling ever since. Just some gradual growth, a lot of excited parents, an excited community, and it's been very exciting to be in Moorhead spot, and to do the Arctic stuff. It's been awesome around here. Growing the rural lacrosse game, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm a Farmington guy. My start in lacrosse actually was I was in fourth grade and I got the best Christmas present I've ever gotten, and it was tickets to the Minnesota Swarm game. I had no idea what lacrosse was, but my uncle bought me tickets and he brought me to the game. And I watched it and I loved it. And I said, Mom, Dad, let's sign me up. So starting, I think about fifth grade, I joined the box lacrosse league. I think we played in Egan. I did that for a couple years. I don't know if either of you remember that. So I did that for a couple years, and then once I hit middle school, it was Farmington Middle School field lacrosse, and then kind of varsity from there on up. When I was in eighth grade, Farmington was a new program and was 0-12, and times were tough. And by the time I was a senior, we were a formidable opponent, and well within the winning column, and we didn't lose too much. So that's kind of how that went at Farmington. I was never one of the leading scorers or anything like that, but I was always kind of on top of the strategy and that sort of thing. My coach would always tell me, "You're going to be a coach one day, blah, blah, blah." I literally started coaching the summer after I graduated, and I haven't missed a year since. So it's been 10 years now since I graduated, and I'll be on my 10th year of coaching lacrosse. I did a few years with Farmington Youth Lacrosse. And then when I graduated from UND, met my wife there. She's from Fargo. I moved to Fargo, find a way to get involved here at the time. Started off with Moorhead Youth Lacrosse, did that for a few years. And then I've just kind of worked my way up through Moorhead. Actually, this year's seniors now, I will have coached for 7 straight years, because I kind of coached them for U12, a couple years of U14, and then 4 years of high school. So I've been around the Moorhead game for a while now, been around coaching for a long time. So yeah.
Did you overlap with Mitch Granks at Farmington?
I did. Mitch is one of my good friends. He was a couple years younger than me, but he was always kind of that freshman or sophomore that had the ends with the older guys that we thought was cool. You know how that goes. So I've been hanging out and talking to him for a long time. Yep.
As a couple of North Dakota alum, is that? I was trying to do some research, kind of look at. There's not club ball doesn't get as much publicity, but do they still have a club team or no?
At this moment, I'm not 100% sure. It's very pretty sporadic up there. They don't have even when I was there, we didn't have quite the leadership like they need in a club. Like for a successful club, we need that coach who's all in. And you're not doing this for the money. You're doing it because you want to coach high level lacrosse. You want to coach the college game. We've never really had that. Like we've had guys come and go. Also, like we have quite the diversity of like the type of people who will come play for us. As in, like we'll have people from all around the country because UND is a big aviation school. But with what comes with aviation students is flight schedules, and flight schedules mean like we might have 5 East Coast guys in the fall, and we're like, wow, this team we're looking solid, like we're looking like a well-rounded team, and then come spring, none of them can play because of flight schedules. So it's been kind of up and down. When I played, we played a couple years in the GLL, we played a couple years in the MCLA. Really dependent on numbers. It was pretty up and down. At this point, I would say that they're GLL at best. They're probably struggling for numbers a little bit.
Wanted to touch on a topic that came up in your introduction. Coaching at Fargo and then, coming over to Moorhead and coaching in the MSHSL league. Any big differences kind of between the two, locations, lacrosse, the leagues, anything in general, or what is it pretty similar?
It's honestly it's quite different, especially where it is in the Fargo, like in the North Dakota side right now, because they're not sanctioned. So it's kind of like what we were doing with club back in the day, except for even probably less teams. So they kind of travel more circus style, kind of like the PLL. They'll have like tournament style weekends in different areas, and so you would, one weekend we'd play 3 games in Bismarck, and then Grand Forks, Fargo, and then it was also South Dakota as well. It's definitely growing fast up there. I mean, the biggest thing is just being able to grow to that high school level. And I think what they're missing is eventually being able to be like split off into like club high school teams, right? So like if their high schools in North Dakota also have clubs, and then eventually be able to grow that into a sanctioned high school sport. And then coming over here to Minnesota, it's a lot different, a lot more rigid of a schedule. We practice more often. Obviously, the Moorhead travel schedule, we're traveling 2 to 3 times a week at minimum of 2.5 hours at a time. Competition is quite a bit at a higher level more consistently. So it was just it was a nice competitive like change, like a little to move over to the Moorhead side.
I think one of the biggest problems that North Dakota is going to always struggle with is population. You just only have so many high schools that are on a level of being able to field a lacrosse team. And so even if each and every one of those bigger schools does it, we're talking, 5, 6 teams. And even at that, you're traveling out to Bismarck and Minot. And aside from that, I mean, it's just numbers wise not even possible unless you're going to completely disband like a track team, which, let's be honest, that's been around since the Greeks. So it's going to be tough to supersede track. So I think just from, it's not even so much as a lacrosse growth thing, it's just a population thing in North Dakota. So we're, both happy to help out where we can with the growth on that side of the border. But for the most part, we like coaching in the big leagues. So
Yeah,
Oh, right on.
it's definitely like, so like they're a big like imprint on our club as well. Like, so like when you think of like our tickets, probably 35% Moorhead, 35% Fargo, and then you sprinkle in some Grand Forks, Bismarck kids here and there. I mean, honestly, North Dakota could probably have their way into a league if it was like from the eastern side of the state. It's the western side of the state is really struggling for that growth. I mean, they're probably still struggling a little bit for on the hockey side over there too. It's mostly football and track, like kind of like Kelley said. But I mean, as far as like Arctic goes, I mean, they're a big stamp on that because I mean, they love to, and they have great athletes. It's just how can they do it in the spring is just a little more difficult.
Right on, right on. You already kind of touched in on a couple things. I definitely want to get into, kind of as we go, but would love to, dive into, Moorhead Lacrosse. We've been talking about the team and following the storylines for the last couple of years. But would love to, kind of hear, from your point of view, maybe talk about last year and where the program's at right now.
yeah, Logan, if you don't mind.
Very good.
I think the biggest thing that people need to understand with Moorhead Lacrosse is the amount of support that we're blessed with from, parents and especially the school. We have a phenomenal athletic director in Dean Haugo. I would put him up there with the best of them in the state. And just the support that we get in terms of being able to do whatever we want. If we want to go down to the cities and we need to take bus rides and we have our own locker room that's just for lacrosse and we're able to get the turf all the time and we're really able to do whatever we need to do to be successful. And then on top of that, the parent support that goes into it, fundraising and doing some of all that, all that extra work. that Logan gets to do, as kind of the CEO of the program, all that fun behind the scenes type stuff. The less that we have to worry about that and the more that we can just focus on lacrosse come April, the better. And we just have such a phenomenal support system. And then I think just kind of he touched on it earlier, but our athletes as a whole, it's a huge hockey culture up here. A lot of our guys play hockey. They start playing hockey at a young age. They start doing athletic type training at a young age, right? So by the time we get these kids in high school, their hand-eye coordination and their strength and conditioning and their athleticism is just so highly developed for high school kids. It's incredible, and I think you see that with hockey players in some other areas of the state as well. But the sheer number of hockey players and multi-sport athletes on our team is a little bit more unique. I think you start getting into the cities and more kids are specializing in lacrosse, or maybe they're playing football too or something. But we have so many hockey lacrosse players, and it's truly a big advantage for us. So,
Speaking of the football, Moorhead football this year is, I mean, maybe they've always been good, but I've noticed that they were ranked number one or something at some point. Maybe they still are. Um, do you've been recruiting some of those guys to hopefully come out and play? I mean, they obviously got athletes if they're doing as well as they're doing.
the funny thing about that is, out of that whole football team, three of the offensive linemen, out of all the position groups there are, three of the offensive linemen are lacrosse players. So
What
those are our guys.
positions are they in
Yep.
lacrosse?
Defense, and defense. Yeah. But
And
it
then we
works
got a running
out.
back mixed in there as well.
And I mean, they're athletic guys, like the style of offense that they run in football. They're asking their guards to pull a lot, so they're not necessarily like your big clunky old linemen. They're definitely big guys that can move quick. So it works out for defense, but it's just kind of funny. You would picture maybe a receiver or a linebacker or something like that playing lacrosse, and it just so happens that we got three old linemen. So yeah, we would love to tap into some of those receivers and running backs and stuff, but we haven't been able to yet.
Looking ahead here in this upcoming season, anything new or anything that's just exciting about the Spuds going into the 2025 season?
I mean, we're definitely we have a lot we have a lot of, like, we have to find where our points are coming from this year. So what's exciting to us, and probably me and Alex more specifically, just because we're offensive guys, is, I mean, we just turned over two big point scorers, Jace Blythe and Joe Egerdahl, which was a huge portion of our team scoring. I'd say 90% of it. And we have a lot of athletes coming up, and we have a lot of young athletes coming up, a lot of young talented athletes. So seeing how we're going to fit those puzzle pieces into the offense, or how we need to change the offense to make it successful to them, I think is kind of an exciting thing. Our defense is pretty locked down. We got a great young goaltender. I think it's gonna be an exciting season. We got some big programs traveling up to us in Moorhead this year, and hopefully that ball keeps on kind of rolling. I mean, it's going to be an exciting year. Hopefully we can, keep locking down the section, and we want to make a run at state, ideally.
Got a fun little stat for you as far as what we have coming down the pipeline, if I can brag for a little bit. So our JV team this past season, and keep in mind, I mean, we're playing, Woodbury's, Egan's. We had a good schedule, okay, and they have solid JV teams as well. So our JV team went 12-0, and the score of all those games combined was 144-15. So our JV team's coming. We got a great group of what will now be sophomores, offensively specifically, that's going to be coming in, and I look forward to kind of molding those guys for the years to come. It's going to be a new era in that sense, but we like where it's headed for sure.
With so many players, being multi-sport, being hockey, as you said. And another challenge I would assume you may have is weather. What are the players able to do in the off seasons? What are you guys doing as a program to prep some of these upcoming players, to get them ready for the season?
I'd I definitely say that that's one of the things where, I mean, it can be a hindrance and sometimes not. Like last year, I think you guys might have had snow longer than us last year. But on like typically where we got the snow, I mean, we don't have a bubble, right? So like if we get caught inside, we're caught inside. We're probably in a gym, and we all know how gym practices go. But it's wait a second, was we definitely like it's not like as big of a hindrance as you think. I mean, we don't have quite the winter programming, and we've been doing some more stuff with Arctic for the younger guys. We don't have obviously like a winter league and stuff, but I think what these guys are doing, like we have a lot of multi-sport athletes. We have a lot of like the hockey guys playing all the way through, whether they're high school hockey guys or JG guys. So they come to us like Kelley said, hand-eye, athletically ready to go. It's just getting their sticks ready to go, the lacrosse IQ, the fundamentals and stuff going in that early part of April, that sometimes, might get us going just a little bit slower. But I mean, we're usually right there. I mean, come end of April, early May, we're usually humming. It's like the winter can be a problem. It's we find a way around it just like everybody else. I mean, it's not too terrible.
And it could be a problem down here too. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just,
exactly.
I didn't know if it was
It
how much worse it could be up there. I don't know.
It's
it
not
like the
particularly
facilities, yeah,
bad.
Yeah.
it's not that much
Not to
worse.
get all meteorological, but I think our climate zone is actually it's a lot more similar in Moorhead here in the River Valley to the cities than it is even if you go like we've had problems going to like Grand Rapids or Proctor or Duluth, those places in the early spring. It feels like they have much worse weather that time of year than we do. Um, we're pretty similar to the cities. Biggest difference here is the dang wind.
Yeah.
We definitely have plenty of wind, and it's like we can still go outside, but for any sort of like strategy or teaching or anything, it's like, all right, let's go in the locker room and we'll talk about this, and then we'll go back outside where you're not going to be able to hear me. So that can be an issue at times, but no, as far as like the cold and the snow and all that, we're pretty similar to the cities. It's not too crazy.
As long as the turf isn't covered like in like 2 inches of snow, we're getting out there. I mean, we're gonna get out there and we're gonna do it. I mean, well, we just kind of brave the cold and the elements, and we do it. I mean, we kind of live this life. We kind of just we know what it is.
The wind is like the silent opponent of a high school lacrosse season. Like you kind of look back and you're like, I don't have a voice and it's been a week, but nobody could hear me. And it's interesting that you said that. When you started talking, I'm like, oh, that's actually, yeah, it's exactly true. It's just the wind is just a pain in the butt. Like, and it can be nice, but with the wind, then it's a meaningless practice because everybody's just yelling at each other.
Another challenge that's been probably well documented is your guys' travel. And I'd love to hear that more teams are kind of going up to you guys. I would love we Prior Lake did that with Duluth. I'd love to get a trip with Moorhead at some point in the future. A good team bonding situation, doing an overnight like that. What has that travel been like? How many sky miles have you guys racked up over the years? And any fun, unique, memories that any good war stories while you guys were on the road with the Spuds.
So I can kind of give my piece quick, and then I'll let Logan talk about it a little bit. But ultimately, you said it at the end of what you just said, and that it's team bonding, right? So you guys, some of these schools are like, oh, it'd be a fun team bonding trip up to Duluth or up to Moorhead or whatever. We're doing that every away game, and that's exactly what it is team bonding. I mean, I've kind of done some math before, looked around on Lax Hub, and I don't think that there is a team in the state that spends more time together than we do. Part of that is the travel. We're doing 8 away games at times because we struggle to get home games, and each one of those away games is 2.5 hours each way at least. We're staying in hotels. A lot of the times we're doing games on Saturdays, right, to make it feasible. Um, don't get me wrong, we've gone down and played Benilde on a Wednesday night and then, done that whole thing too. But when you play all those Saturday games, you end up having 5 days of practice, a whole bus trip on Saturday. Like I mentioned before, we have our own locker room, so we're hanging out before practice, even when we are home. We are at home. So the just the sheer amount of time that we spend together. Obviously, at times with high school boys, they're gonna, bicker like brothers. But when it comes to playoff time, the chemistry that we get from that and just the love for one another, it really, I think, is a benefit. And then just as far as, what you're doing on the bus, I mean, we're using that time to solidify game plans and call kids up one-on-one to talk about their grades or if they're not understanding a slide package, we're focusing on that kind of stuff. So, it's one of those things where you really take what should be a weakness and we make it a strength. So we love the travel. It's not a problem at all.
It's definitely one of those things, like, when you grow up in, like, the Moorhead, Fargo area, like, that's just what it is. Like, if you're a hockey kid, you're traveling all the time. I mean, a 3-hour trip to us is just kinda is what it is. I think just where you kinda come up with a hiccup is just, like, making sure we're on top of these kids' grades. So we're on their grades all the time, making sure their grades are where they need to be, and then, making sure that obviously they're getting their sleep schedule. So, like, whether we're getting naps on the bus or when we get home, make sure we're getting their sleep. I mean, but other than that, I mean, being on the bus with your buddies and getting that team bonding time versus, being in the classroom, sitting down anyways, being trapped in your desk, um, not too different. I think we just have just a few little hurdles that we have to go over, and our booster clubs are. I mean, our booster club is fantastic about it. I mean, we don't stress about travel. I mean, there's been times where I've picked up a game and we got to go 3 hours the next week, and it's just
Scrimmages even.
even scrimmages. Like, we'll do it. We'll drive 3 hours for a scrimmage and be like done, and we just make sure they make sure we have us covered and we can play at a high level, and we need to, or we can do what we need to do, and we just have great support in that sense too.
It kind of feels like you guys are running a Division three program. It's just like just get on the bus, go play, come back home, and you're just down and back in it, right? But one thing I do love that you guys have done recently, I don't know how long it's been going on, but over at least the last few years that we've been sort of covering lacrosse, is that you'll come down, play Friday night, Saturday, you'll stay overnight, play Saturday afternoon. So you'll get like a weekend series, like 2 games against, two teams down here. That's been cool, and you guys have had a lot of success doing that, and that's been a really cool way to get you guys, more games down here. But maybe if there's some coaches listening, one thing that I haven't like dug into this stat, but teams that have gone up to play you, win or lose, have had some success recently. Egan last year went up to play you. They made the state tournament. The year before, Shakopee went up to play you. They lost. The shot heard around the world. They made it to the semis and lost in overtime, the state semis. So, and I haven't like dug too far. Benilde came up, and obviously they went to the state tournament. So, for anybody that's like, I don't want to go to Moorhead, there's like good omen coming up to playing Moorhead.
So are you saying if you want to make the state tournament, you have to go to Moorhead?
There's a high, there's a there. I'm not saying it's an exact science, but there's a direct correlation with going up to Moorhead to play and having success later on in the year.
Let's spread that rumor so we can get some more top 10 teams
That's what
coming
I'm
up to
trying to
Moorhead.
do. That's what I'm trying to do.
Who do we have coming this year, Logan? We have Edina.
We got Egan Edina coming up to us this year, so that's a big travel one, and we know that they're going to be a good team this year. I'd have to double check the schedule. We're going to Egan this year, but we got Irondale at the East West Showdown, so we got a lot of
Nice.
a lot of good games in the bag this year.
Yeah, I haven't been able to look at your schedule just because I don't know what I don't. It's like usually I go to like the conference websites and the cities here, but I don't know. But you talked about Egan, and you're doing the East West Showdown. But any other games that you're looking forward to, maybe new ones or familiar matchups that you're excited about?
I think definitely Edina is one that we really want to test ourselves. Exciting. We know that they've had that young squad coming up for a while. We really want to test ourselves against them. And then Egan for sure, especially after last year. I mean, they beat us 15-5, and we all know the squad they had. Real fast, talented, physical team, run and gun. And we want to go down to them and see if we can get one back. And then we always have St. Michael Albertville circled on the schedule. I mean, that's no secret. They're basically our rival in this section every single year, and we're gonna circle that one like we always do.
I think we're going to Duluth this year too,
Yep.
and we actually have not played them in the past. It's actually a pretty far trip from Moorhead because you're going all the way across the state. I think it's a good 5+ hours.
Wow.
So that's going to be kind of they're a good squad, and that's going to be kind of a Kings of the North type situation. Who's in charge up here? So that'll be a fun one. But yeah,
Kings of
we
the North,
do our
write that
best.
down.
Yeah, we do our best to obviously schedule as many of those good top 10 teams as we can, but it is also important, that we're giving games to the other teams in the North, just to support them. And, we know obviously it's easier for us now that we've had some success and teams want to play us, but some other programs are still trying to build up, and they need those games. So we try to balance that as well and play some of those teams. So.
Speaking of those teams and the section, the road to state that we've kind of been discussing, wow, I was wrong. I was wrong last year. I got the STMA. Hey, I raise my hand when I'm wrong. I'm not wrong often, but I was wrong on Section 8. I got a weird vibe. I was riding you guys for a few years. I thought it was time to switch before the table got cold. Table's still hot. I missed out on a lot of winnings. But regardless, you guys have been able to, stay on top in this section. What's been your approach to, stay competitive, continue to own the section? While, I feel like Down the Alley thinks post COVID, this has been a section continuing to get deeper, continuing and working on, increasing the parity. How have you guys been able to stay on top?
I think as we see athletes come and go, especially as a coaching staff, we have a lot of good coaches who are excited to constantly change and innovate what we're doing. We're not really stuck in our ways. Like we're not necessarily doing things like this is the Moorhead way. Like we will like with our standards and stuff, yes, but like with like the way that our offense runs and our defense runs and whatever team that we're playing, we will adjust it to make sure our athletes are going to be as successful as they possibly need to be. I mean that's been a huge aspect of it. Coming up after COVID, I think we didn't see like that. I think we're a lot of programs maybe in the cities. If I'm wrong, maybe numbers went down a little bit after COVID. Our numbers were solid. I mean, so we were a new program and we came in out. We had a lot of excited people that first year out of COVID, and we were kind of be able to, like I said before, I kind of strike lightning in a bottle at the end of the season and get all those kid goings clicking at the same time. As we developed through April, it was we just continually growing, continually adjusting what we do. Like IMCLA, we're always on that. We're always looking for new stuff. We constantly learning. None of our coaches here, we don't have none of us play D1, D2. Like we're learners. We're learners of the game. We always are coming up with something, and we're kind of getting to that phase too. Like we're innovating a little bit and we're changing what we do. And also like with the players too, kind of giving them a hand on the wheel. I'd say that probably across the board with us, and like me and all my coaches, I think Kelley could attest to this, is we're kind of all players coaches, our leaders in the locker room, our big point scorers, our leaders on the defense. Like we give them all a hand on the wheel. Like if they have an idea, let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But they feel like they have control in what we're doing, and there's a lot of buy-in there, and there's a lot of excitement about what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think we put in a tremendous amount of work to be prepared for each and every game as well. You mentioned Blueprint earlier. I appreciate that. I have a wonderful staff who, when it's lacrosse season, man, I'm pretty much not working. It's sad, but I'm doing lacrosse all day, every day. If we have a game against you, I'm gonna know what you're eating for breakfast. I'm gonna know your offense, your defense. I'm gonna know absolutely everything. If I could shout out a kid who's not a Moorhead player, man, we battled Remy Lobitz at STMA for, twice a year for years. And I have not lost sleep over someone like I've lost sleep over Remy, and luckily we were able to best STMA when it mattered most. But I mean, he was the boogeyman for a long time, and just we didn't play them. We didn't have them on our schedule until late May. But day one of practice, I'm already like preparing us for what's our game plan for him, and the rest of their team. So, just kind of another fun step for you guys. Linus Toward, I don't know if he's all-time leading scorer. He's up there in Minnesota lacrosse history.
I think
So
goal
from
He still is, right?
Yeah, I think career goals he's number.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So from ninth grade to 12th grade, he also played his 8th grade year, but we'll go from ninth grade to 12th grade. He scored a goal, at least one goal, in every single game except for one, and that was our win up here in Moorhead when we played Shakopee. I mean, we try to get as prepared as possible. We knew absolutely everything that they were going to do. We're calling it out on the field, and we're just trying to put our athletes in the best position possible. So, as far as, trying to stay on top, listen, we got eyes and ears on every other program in Section 8. We know what they're up to. We're watching. They're not going to sneak any quick ones by us. We're going to be ready. So,
If you guys can't tell, Kelley's our stat guy. He's our team stat guy. He loves it.
Stat guy, meteorologist. He's covering a lot of different aspects of what's going on, and I appreciate that. I'm here for it.
Does he drive the bus too?
He would if he could.
We might have a role on DTA. I don't know which hat we'll throw on you, but we'll find you one. Speaking of those eyes and ears, the staff, obviously we've got YouTube, but according to Lax Hub, which I don't know how much we can trust it, you guys got a deep staff in terms of different positions that you guys are covering. Talk about the staff and how it's contributed to you guys' success the last few years.
That's been like paramount to us. I mean, specifically for myself, surround myself with people who are smarter than myself, make me seem like I'm smarter than I am. I mean, we got guys like Kelley, Coach Kelley here, and Coach Dealstra, and then Coach Voorhees is our goalie coach. We have some fantastic JV coaches. We also have a face-off coach, and we've kind of been growing that up as a program. So like when I was here in 21, I mean, we had an offensive coach and a defensive coach, and everything else in between, we kind of just all worked on together. And as we've found some more success and we've started to grow the program here in Moorhead, we've found more guys and excited people who want to do things. And you know how important it is to have a face-off coach, maybe the most important position in the game, and have a goalie coach and guys who love to do those two things. And honestly, incredibly difficult to find guys like that. And I mean, I could tell you what, if you're within 100-mile radius of us, we probably have, and you're a great coach, we probably have you on the staff. If not, we just don't know about you yet. I mean, we really like to bring guys in and on any way that we can. And I mean, that's been paramount to our success.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's kind of unique to Moorhead's, just kind of the geography and the situation that we're in is we are so far from the next closest high school lacrosse program that, first of all, we're super lucky that, Logan and John and I, we all get along really well, and we're great friends outside of lacrosse, and we hang out all the time. And so we have a super good relationship. Obviously one of us has to be a head coach. But I truly feel like, not to take anything away from Logan, any one of us three could be a head coach at a program, but I'm not, we're not gonna, first of all, I would never leave my Spuds. Second of all, I'm not going to uproot my family and go 2.5 hours east to.
What if it was Farmington?
Team.
What if it was Farmington?
No, Grangs tries to get me every year. He tries to get me to come help out. I'm like, Grangs, I'm not going to uproot my family to coach. You know, as much as I
Hey,
love
never
high
say
school
never.
lacrosse.
What's the offer? What's the offer? I don't know. Never say
Yeah,
never.
I don't know what kind of NIL situation they got
What are
going
the
there,
boosters
but
throwing around now?
yeah, it would it'd take a lot to pull me from the Spuds. But no, yeah, so you know, that's my point though, is that um we're not going anywhere. We got great coaches. We're not going anywhere. We've been together for a few years now. We're going to continue to be together. You know, I want to be a coach here until I'm 70 years old and we're counting state championships, hopefully. So we're kind of lucky in that sense with the geography, but yeah.
It's just a great team of guys to work with. I mean, that's the thing. Like we've had, talks. Would you coach here or there? It's like, well, if we can bring our guys, we just have a great group and it works well. And obviously we've had our success, but hopefully we want to have some more here.
I'm not going to ask for, too much comment on this one, but I'm calling this the Spud rule. I'm convinced that this rule was changed, and that's the seeding at the state tournament. Again, I'm not trying to get you guys fined or suspended, but are you guys? I assume you support the new 1 through 8 seeding at the state tournament.
I can go first, Kelley. You can give your opinion on it. I mean, I like the way it is now. Let it be. We go to state. We have to beat anybody anyways. You want to be a state champion, you're gonna have to beat the best. So I mean, in reality, the 3 years in a row that we pulled Benilde as a coaching staff, we're just like, let's go. And that's why we schedule them in the regular season anyways, because we know there's a chance we're gonna see them in the postseason. But at least with the 1 through 8 seeding, personally, you just know, like, if the coaches think we're the 8 seed, then we're the 8 seed. It is what it is. We don't have to play this game where maybe we were the 6, but we got the 8 type of thing. Like, at least if you know you're the 8 or you know you're the 7, that is what it is. I like it personally that way. I mean, nobody's feelings are going to get hurt if you put a certain team the 8. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with Logan. Ultimately, it is good to have the transparency, but at the same time, when there's all this hoopla about the seating and people freaking out, and even people in Moorhead, I can assure you that the coaches and the players in the locker room, it didn't bother us one bit. Like he said, our goal is to win the state championship, and I get that anyone can say that. But I also think as a high school coach, it's important to be realistic about your goals. And so if you're taking over a 1-12 program and you go in there and say that, it maybe doesn't mean a whole lot and you need to start smaller. But with the guys that we have on the coaching staff and the guys that we have, just athletes coming up and the support that we get, we truly believe like we have the foundation to become state champions. And that's where we want to be. And so, like you said, you play who you play. We're going to have to beat the best if we want to be the best. And we think we can do that. So try not to care about seeding a whole lot.
No, good answer. Good answer on that. I was just trying to stir the pot a little bit, but
Trying to get some trouble.
Yeah, no. I said I led with I don't want to get you fined or suspended. I led with that. I led with that. No. So kind of looking long term here and into the future. What's Moorhead lacrosse looking like? I felt like a couple summers ago, our youth teams maybe ran into you guys at one of the tournaments. What's the growth looking like, and what's the youth kind of doing, to help continue the success that you guys have built?
So I can lead with this because I'm on the youth board as well here at Moorhead, and we have been having a lot of growth year after year. Like I don't know how it's going for you guys, but I mean we're 50 new boys lacrosse players this year. Hopefully another 30 to 40 next year. So we went from one team at every level to now we had 2 12U teams last year. This coming year, hopefully 2 12U, 2 14U teams. The numbers have been going up. We've had some very talented teams, play through some of these like 14U seasons. And honestly, the biggest thing for us now is getting some of our old players, as we're a young program. Our first season was 2019. Getting some of our old players, kind of recycled back in to the program and coaching our young guys. And we've started to do that for the first time this year. And we've seen a lot of like worth in that, like a lot of like kind of teaching the way that we do things, teaching them what they need to know to be a high school athlete, and just a lot of like the growth just kind of multiply with those guys. I mean, we have like athletes here in Moorhead. We have a lot of athletes, and people are excited about playing the game. And, there's a lot of people kind of just learning that it's even a game for the first time, and when they find out, I mean, you guys know this, you pick up a stick once and then you're hooked. And we've been able to do that. And, me being in the school system, I run like lacrosse units here. We do tri-frees all over the city, from every elementary school to the middle school a few times. So we're really getting a lot of our athletes exposed to what we're doing.
Do you guys play in the summer league, spring league? What do you guys? I'm just more curious for myself because I run some of our youth stuff too.
We just do spring league.
Okay.
So we just do spring league, and then summer league. If you play summer, you're probably playing Arctic.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I don't know how the summer league is like, kind of like stated that, and then same thing for fall too. So that's one thing that we're really missing around here, because we don't have like a lot of neighboring cities.
Yeah.
Is we only have a spring league. So if you want to play anything else outside of spring league, you got to play club, which is, it's got its positive and negatives that way.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit of a hybrid. It's really just, we're just kind of showing up to tournaments. I mean,
we don't even play
we do go
schedule, but
right. I was gonna say we do go a little bit later than the spring league, though. I think even for a couple tournaments.
Yeah, we go most of the way through June.
Yeah.
Like towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll have to chat, get hooked up if it's with Moorhead, Arctic, a little bit of both.
And you guys, your youth program runs a tournament, right, in the spring at some point.
Right on Mother's Day.
Yeah. How's that been going? Have more teams been coming up, or is it mainly kind of that Northwest kind of region?
It's our first year we had more teams. This last year it was Grand Rapids came, and then ourselves, but then we scheduled with the North Dakota side for them to have their game weekend on the same weekend we had that tournament, so they played in it as well. We've been trying to grow it a lot more. I think a lot right now, in like from what I'm seeing in the lacrosse community, people are a little bit more hesitant to travel. A lot of the clubs are a little more hesitant to travel. And I mean, we are a younger tournament, so you are kind of taking a chance on us. But I mean, we really think it could grow. I mean, we've got a great space out here. We've got a lot of excited people running it. We just need to get more teams, maybe make it a GNLL weekend or whatever. But get more teams out here would be nice.
As you guys know, since you two listen, we like to end each episode asking our guests, what is your alley? This could be something you're passionate about today, this week, this month, this year. Maybe it's a lifelong thing. Lacrosse, not lacrosse. You can kind of take it any direction you'd like. I would love to hear each of your guys' alleys.
Yeah, I can start. I knew this question was going to come when you guys asked us to come on, and so I put a lot of thought into it. And I've heard some good answers over the years, and people have just all these wonderful charities that they work with, and this, that, and the other. But I really, when I'm looking at my life from a 10,000-foot view, aside from my family at home, I mean, Moorhead Lacrosse that's my alley. I mean, I'm so focused on Moorhead Lacrosse, and it really is my second family, and I would do anything for those boys, and just making sure that we're in the best possible situation to succeed. One story, just to kind of tell you kind of team that we are, and this kind of ties into something you said earlier. This year, we're sitting there getting ready to play Minnetonka in the state consolation. And so when we go to state, we stay the whole week, right? So we're down there, we stay till we go home. And we're kind of watching some film and just getting ready. And, we love hanging out at the hotel, and the boys screw around and have fun. And one of our guys, senior captains, just kind of says to me, he goes, Coach, obviously I want to win this game, but really what I want to do is I just want to extend the stay here and just be able to hang out with the boys for another few days. And, just the, just hanging out and having fun and being together with your teammates and just, we just love our family so much that we don't want to see it end. And so I think that's definitely in the back of our heads section time too. Just know that state trip is looming and for the seniors that are going on to graduate and they're not going to have this anymore, or the juniors that aren't going to see their senior buddies anymore, just being able to extend the season and the time that we have together is so important to them and so important to us. And so that just really meant a lot to me. Tells you a lot about the culture and the family that we've built here. And so, yeah, my alley's Moorhead Lacrosse.
There we go. On like a side note, you guys wouldn't like just like the amount of incentive for these boys. Like, we need to stay another night in this hotel. Let's get a dub. We want to stay here with our buddies. We want to have some more bonding time. You wouldn't think it's that big of a deal, but those guys really think about it. I mean, they really cherish those times. And I mean, obviously, our coaches, we're away from our families, but we kind of we like that up there too. All you got to do is it's 4 or 5 days in a hotel, and all you do is talk lacrosse and watch film. I mean, what's better than that? But I guess what's my alley? I mean, kind of like what Kelley said. I mean, I don't want to jump on the same thing, but when you're coaching lacrosse 3 months or 3 seasons out of the year, it's a big part of your life. I mean, right now is kind of like my one downtime where I get to spend time with my wife and my daughter. And, I'm big into golf. So me and my daughter go golfing. I mean, as much as she can. She's a toddler, but she's riding along, and we're doing the family stuff. But, lacrosse is lacrosse is always there. It's I love more lacrosse. I love this community, and be whether I'm a part of it from the school system, or being the Moorhead coach or on the Moorhead youth, or helping out the Fargo boys in the North Dakota side, growing those. I mean, just this area, and growing lacrosse and being a part of this community is just really special. It's kind of a dream job. You kind of like, especially like, come spring, like you're working crazy hours. It's 14 to 16-hour days, and you just love every second of it. And you're tired for 2 months, and you just can't get enough. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I just love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to thank each of you guys for your time, pulling the curtain back and, kind of introducing us and all the listeners to, Spuds, who we've been talking about, ranting and raving about. And, yeah, you guys just know how to pull the perfect upset at the perfect time. So, we'll be obviously following along very closely, and, good luck this upcoming season.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Offensive coordinator and head coach of the Moorhead Spuds. Yeah, great interview. You can tell they are fired up, passionate. They love the program. They love what they're doing, building the program. And, yeah, a few of their things, the family, and, kind of turning the negatives, or what we may perceive as negatives, they turn them right into positives. So I thought it was a really interesting and good interview. And I don't know, I like their vibe, and I kind of like what they're doing over there.
Yeah, I think something like as they were talking, I've gotten to know Alex a little bit, cross paths with Logan in the club circuit here and there. That's the first time I've actually talked to him. But as they were talking, I'm kind of like, these are guys I'd like to play for.
Yeah.
They just seem like they get it. Like like the saying in like football media where it's like they're a football guy, right?
Yeah.
They're lacrosse guys. Like,
Yeah, they are.
they love it. They love coaching. Like, you can obviously tell they're knowledgeable and detailed, like from a coaching perspective, but they want another night in the hotel with the boys.
Yeah.
They want to travel, like anytime, any place, anywhere, get on the bus. Like, we'll play whoever wants to play us. And you're right. Like, they've established that narrative, and that's just the mentality of their program. And I think we've seen that over the years where, like, sure, there's teams maybe that are more talented or have deeper rosters or whatever, but they have athletes, they have like a positive like attitude towards like, we want to be great, and they have coaches that are super invested, and they can hang with anybody. because like they all just believe like they know where they want to go. So a lot of respect to what they're doing up there. It's I think not a matter of if, it's when they make a run at state or win a couple games and put themselves in a position to be state champions.
And they've been close. They're right there. They're scratching the surface, and I with their numbers growing, with them being involved, with the things they're doing, it sounds like they're doing all the right things for this to just be the start, and not the end. Like they're not going to be going anywhere. Yeah, I that was what else? Do we have any other rants? Any other storylines?
I have been doing, well, myself and the source have been doing the top 20 team previews on the blog on downthealleypod.com.
Yep.
Um,
Seen those come through. I've had a couple messages, couple of texts actually today about it.
hmm, interesting. Good or bad or indifferent or
Well, so you dropped today, day of recording, you dropped Jefferson,
yep.
and they texted me about two different teams that were like, how you say, oh, they're going to be playing the 16 this and the 18 that.
Yeah.
And they were like, how is this team ranked over that team? And I was like, well, one, I didn't personally rank them. I didn't write this article. Two, so I guess this would be a question: Is this are these your rankings, or are these based off Lax Hub? Are they based off Lax numbers? Are they
So
based off of another math equation?
I love this question, and I love
This
um
was not pre-planned. This is
no.
natural.
Here's
This
why
is
I
all
love
natural.
here's why I love it, because for the last 4 years of doing this, we have had rankings and polls and tiers, and the only thing people do is they see the social media post, or they see like the fifth blog in a list of a series, and they just immediately get super pissed off. So if they
Hey,
would
it's good for branding. It's good for
have,
us.
so to answer the question, you can relay this to your texts. These
Oh,
are
they're a listener. They will hear this.
okay.
I'm pretty sure they
Um,
listen to every episode and every second of every
okay.
episode.
These are not my rankings.
These are not your rankings.
Not my
Okay, so we can't blame you.
These are lax numbers,
Well,
the 2024 final rankings, the algorithm. So it
okay.
takes it takes record, strength of schedule, margin of victory, who knows what else, and there's a algorithm that spits out a number, and the highest number is number one, and the lowest number is number 80. And every number in between. So you can blame the algorithm. You can email laxnumbers.com and tell them they're idiots and their algorithm's broken. That being said, I'm just going down the list based on that. And then
Yep.
in the schedule, if there's a team that's ranked in that final ranking
Yep.
on their schedule, I'm just saying they're playing the number 5 team next year
Based off of the lax number of last year.
of the end of 2024. Now,
Yep.
by the time that so and so plays so and so in 2025, they may no longer be ranked. They may be ranked higher. A team that's unranked currently might be the number one team at that point. But as it
Yeah.
stands today, it's just a way to qualify games that they have on their schedule, instead of me just being they play this good team because I think they're good. Um,
Yeah, because we could get sued over that probably.
correct. So,
You know,
and
uh
and
it
if they've read other blog posts, there's been multiple times I've said they play unranked Moorhead, but don't be surprised if they are ranked by the time this game gets played, or they'll
mm,
be much better this year. But as it stands today, they're the 25th team on the list, and I'm only ranking the top 20.
got it. Got it. I think Alex Kelley, OC of the Spuds, I think he needs a job offer. I know we don't pay very well for the podcast. At least
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid very well for the podcast. Um, But I think there's something there. I don't know if it's meteorologist. I don't know if it's DTA stat guy. I don't know if it's weatherman. I don't know. I think it's something we need to sleep on. I don't know if we need to present him with an opportunity. Maybe he already has an idea, but I just want to put this in the universe. I think there's something there for Kelley and DTA and content and
Yeah.
being
I would consider myself like a stats person.
okay.
I like to dig into the stats, and if you've read the blogs, there's been some statistical analysis that's been integrated into those previews.
Okay.
I think that he might give me a run for my money, if not blow me out of the water when it comes to statistical analysis. I mean, he analyzed every game that a player that he was going to play had played in, for his whole 5-year high school career. So I think he's like next level stats. So maybe it's a weekly newsletter with some stat of the week or something like that.
Stat guy Kelley. I don't know. I think that's all I got for this one for this week. I got.
All right. Well, we'll catch you on the flip side. Another great interview, another great episode. Thank you to Old Southern Barbecue for helping us put this show on and continue to grow it and upgrade it and do the best coverage of Minnesota lacrosse we can do. And talk to you later.
Adios.
Hey guys, Ted here from Down the Alley. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and Old Southern Barbecue is smoking up some great deals on turkeys. Sourced locally here in Minnesota, if you're looking to grab a delicious turkey or a full meal complete with sides, visit oldsouthernbarbecue.com and place your order today.